review show. I'm Ross Stanton. It's the last show of 2025. I almost said 2024 right there because the year actually flew by. Yeah, for those who've been keeping up, go check out the last show with myself and Gaz. We obviously did the Heat review for the Heat anniversary, so that was a good one. Go check that out. Of course, pop by the spring, get your merch, get your PXF hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, blankets, mugs. What else do they have on there? Not quite sure. Of course, we did the Zodiac Files live edition, so go check that as well. The return of Ray Grant, and before that, Gaz and I did the Crow graphic novel. Of course, Sisu, the sequel to Road to Revenge, is out. Go check that out on streaming. But today we have another spaghetti western, another Sergio Leone, final film in the Dollars trilogy, final film in the Man with No Name trilogy. And of course, I got my trusty Stetson cowboy hat, yee-ha, going on. So we're going to pop off. What up, Mr. JVS 650 from beautiful Northern England, Gaz the Highlander, because no Western epic is complete without a token.
without some Northern cursing madman to go for authenticity.
Yeah, for sure. You got to have at least one Brit fish out of water stuck in the Wild Wild West to bring the that usual British cheer. And without further ado, you've seen him before, the man, the myth, the legend from the I've Been Thinking podcast. You've seen me on there featured several times. Anybody seen Ricky? Crypt Rick, the legend from Ontario, Canada, joining us.
Hello.
For the good, bad, and the ugly. Without further ado, gentlemen, any initial shouts you guys want to pop off before we get into the content?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that stuff.
Yeah,
the
that's what I was going to
crappy
say.
Grinchmas. The official
Yeah,
crappy
really.
Grinchmas from PXF. Me and Gaz are Grinches, Rick. We're not really big on Santa and things of that nature.
My whole theme this year was Grinch. All of my ornaments were Grinch. Everything was Grinch. So I'm right with you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty much us 24/7, man.
Can't
three
believe it's
Grinches.
almost 2026. Like, what
The
the
three
hell,
Grinches.
man?
Just wait till we get to crappy New Year.
I know.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Go ahead, guys.
Can I drop a rating now before we even get into it? Just straight off the bat, do a PXF history and actually say something positive. I'm going to say 10 out of 10 right from the start. One of the greatest films ever made.
Wow.
There we go.
Holy crap. Gaz is actually happy this show. Who the hell is this guy? And where's Gaz? You know,
he's
Rick,
taken a break for a few weeks, man.
Yeah, the Christmas cheer. I want my Grinch back, Gaz. This isn't you. Ricky, any other shouts?
I'm just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, all seriousness. And hopefully have a great New Year. And I'm looking forward to this. The Spaghetti Westerns, as soon as I heard you guys were going to be covering this one, I asked Ross right away. I was like, I got to be a part of this. Like,
let them know where to find you, Ricky. Plug your show and your channel.
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube. Just go to Crypt Rick's I've Been Thinking. You'll find all my video stuff there. I'm also on Revolution Radio 3 days a week now. So if you go to revolution.radio, you can go to the schedule and check me out. I'm on Mondays, Thursdays, and my music show is Fridays, where we just play music and talk music. And so just go to revolution.radio, check the schedule. You'll find me, Crypt Rick. There you go.
Hell yeah. Of course, I'm Ross Stanton. You can like, sub, and share. You can click the join button. If you want to be a membership, members are going to get 24-hour early access to the Zodiac Files main series, episode 5, the Lake Herman Road ambush, and episode 6, the Blue Rock Springs attack. Without further ado, and also, I don't know if you saw this, guys. AJ got in a car crash in Nigeria. I think it happened today. So, unfortunately, a couple of his team members passed. So, get well, AJ. Anthony Joshua, he's a British treasure. Definitely. He really did the world a favor by getting Snake Paul out of here in that boxing match, if you will. More like a slaughter. Anyway, without further ado, we'll cover net shits on another show. The poster, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our man Lee Van Cleef, Eli Wallach, I think, plays Tuco. The posters for Three Men, the Civil War wasn't hell, it was practice. And then there's probably not going to be able to see it because it's kind of dark in here, but that's okay. We'll go straight over to the synopsis and genres. A bounty hunting scam joins two men in an uneasy alliance against a third in a race to find a fortune in gold buried in a remote cemetery. So kind of getting us back to a Western heist, Gazzy, a little bit after our Heat adventure. Action epic, adventure epic, dark comedy, desert adventure epic, period drama, quest, spaghetti western, western epic, adventure. We always love when there's 50 genres, you know what I mean? So, what could I miss? Red Cloud, I could nip this in the bud for you right at the beginning. No, there's no evidence that the two cases are connected. Actually, Alex Baber is an idiot, and he says that he solved the Z13 cipher, which is also BS. But just don't listen to anybody who tells you that they solved both cases with the same suspect. And newsflash, guys, SFPD, the FBI, and probably Napa all have Zodiac's fingerprints and palm prints. I know it's like a fun misnomer on the internet to say nobody has Zodiac's prints. He could be anyone, bro. But reality is a lot more simple than that. So Zodiac is not anyone. As a matter of fact, he's just most likelihood the person who matches those fingerprints. And to take it a little bit longer, the pinky ring print from Paul Stein's cab matches a print on the little list letter. So unless you're saying some other guy wrote all the other letters, which doesn't make any sense. Was Clint's best Western? I think it's the most well-known one. It's definitely the most well-known one. We'll leave it up to you guys to say whether it's the best or not. But
I was letting you know, Ross, know that I checked AI, and AI says that this was the best Western, spaghetti Western ever made.
AI's never wrong. We all know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
definitely
interesting. It's definitely up there. I think we've got to cover Once Upon a Time in the West, possibly The Outlaw Josie Wales as well. That one gets talked about a lot.
100%. Yeah, we definitely plan to cover those.
To them.
Well, it explains it. It's just written in Italian. So Blondie's the good, Mortimer Mimer is the bad, and obviously Tuco is the ugly. You have the only thing I'll say about whether this is Clint's best, it's kind of hard to quantify that because he shares the screen time between Lee Van Cleef and Tuco. You know what I mean? So they're all epic, but it's I wouldn't really call it a Clint solo with you guys, because the camera follows follows Lee Van Cleef first, then it follows Tuco. It introduces Blondie third out of the first two, so it's
yeah, and you could even argue I'm skipping way ahead. The final duel, Lee Van Cleef gets more of the camera time in that sequence because if your eagle-eyed, it focuses more on Lee Van Cleef glancing between Blondie and Tuco.
100%.
Yeah, so there's so much in this film. There's so many appearances by people who I'm wondering if it was some actors from the first two as well.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot that goes into, like Gaz was saying, all these actors that Sergio Leone used in 1 and 2, for lack of a better argument, playing different characters. But I'll send it to you guys. I was just watching a dude on YouTube that did the timeline of the 3 films, and obviously, I don't know about you guys, how you guys had it over there, but the way I always watched it is in the order that they came out, came to America, Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. Obviously, the Civil War is happening in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then for A Few Dollars More, he's talking about being a former Union colonel or whatever. So the actual timeline of the films is actually Good first, A Few Dollars More, and then Fistful of Dollars last, which is the opposite order of what they came out in. So I don't know how many people know that. You guys can shout it out in the chat if you're aware of it. I need to rewatch Unforgiven. I know it's epic. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
That's a great movie too.
Yeah,
I'm a big
what's
Clint Eastwood
interesting,
fan.
Ross? Oh, dude, is I think it's Jay who said before that they're hiding at the moment. They're burnt out on all the Christmas songs, Jay, so they're taking a break from it. That's why you can't see them. If I hear another one, they're going to explode.
Yeah, agreed. I second that.
But yeah, Lee Van Cleef's character as well, guys, and this one is essentially like a darker version of Colonel Mortimer.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Which is so sick. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was helping Manco in that one. He was essentially a good guy, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I was. Now he's Sentenza in this one, and he's obviously gone crazy. Funny, Clint was young, but he always looked 50. Always looked older than he was 20. No, for real. Clint is like got that like quintessential rustic cowboy face. Could never freaking pin that guy's age down, especially in this movie when they're all sunburnt and their lips are all crusty and like Tuco looking all haggard. Really, both of them when he walks Blondie through that.
Like do a Mad Max walk for a week and you got the perfect casting.
Yep.
For sure. This is like Wild West Mad Max before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
What was the other thing I was going to say beyond the timeline? I'm sure it will come back to me. But so if you guys want, we could just pop off the plot. Or actually, I'll do the little wiki intro. So, good and the bad and the ugly. In Italian, it's the good, the ugly, the bad. I like the ring the English has better. No offense to all my cousins out in Italy. It's a 1966 Italian epic spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone and starring Clint as the good, Lee Van Cleef as the bad, Eli Wallach as the ugly. Its screenplay was written by Agee and Scarpelli, Luciano Vincenzoni, and Leone, with additional screenplay material and dialogue provided by an uncredited Sergio Donati, based on a story by Vincenzoni and Leone. Director of photography Torino Deli Colli was responsible for the film's sweeping widescreen cinematography. Ennio Morricone composed the film's score. It was an Italian-led production with co-producers in Spain, West Germany, and the U.S. Most of the filming took place in Spain, notably, though not exclusively, in the Tabernas Desert in Almeria, in the Arlanza River Valley near Hortigula, and at the purpose-built Sad Hill Cemetery near Santo Domingo de Silos. Yeah, I was wondering if the cemetery was real, guys, but apparently doesn't appear to be. The film is known for Leone's use of long shots and close-up cinematography, as well as his distinctive use of violence, tension, and highly stylized gunfights. The plot revolves around three gunslingers competing to find a fortune in a buried cache of Confederate gold amid the violent chaos of the American Civil War, specifically the Battle of Glorieta Pass of the New Mexico campaign in 1962. While participating in many battles and confrontations and duels along the way, the film was the third collaboration between Leone and Eastwood and the second of those with Van Cleef. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was marketed in the U.S. as the third and final installment of the Dollars trilogy, following A Fistful of Dollars 64 and For a Few Dollars More 65. The film was a financial success, grossing over $38 million at the worldwide box and garnered Eastwood publicity. Due to general disapproval of the spaghetti western genre at the time, some critics dismissed the movie, but it soon garnered critical praise and now widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential westerns of all time. I did think of one thing while I was reading that. So I watched the 3-hour version on YouTube, guys, and I think it had like a bunch of the deleted scenes like added back into the film, but they changed the music. So a lot of people in the comments were ripping it like, yo, without the iconic like score, like this is totally whack, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to rewatch, to full disclosure, I'm gonna have to rewatch this one with the correct music.
Yeah, I did both. I watched that version and then watched the original with the music as well.
Yeah.
But sorry guys, I'm just gonna choke.
He's done. That's as far as he got. Well, we're gonna drop Gaz. We'll pull him back in later.
Be right back a moment. Actually, I'm going to drop myself. I'll be right back.
No worries, mate. Do what you got to do. Just mute if you got it, Gazzy. Ricky, you got anything on that?
No, I love this movie, as I keep saying, and I was telling you, Ross, like these spaghetti westerns have a dear spot to my heart, because I was telling you before we started recording that this was something that we would do on the weekends. Me and my dad, he was a big Clint Eastwood fan and a big Charles Bronson fan, so we would watch all of these spaghetti westerns. I was watching these so young, and we would watch them, and then we get into the war movies, like the old, D-Day, Kelly's Heroes, like all of that stuff. That's what my dad was into. So I was introduced to Clint Eastwood really young, these spaghetti westerns, and love them. There's something about him, and Clint Eastwood's always been one of my favorite actors. He's just really good.
Absolutely.
In these movies, I enjoy it.
Have you seen the different versions? Because we're going to go over the deleted scenes once we get to that point later on.
I saw whatever's. I got it on Prime or whatever. I'd actually rent it today, because it wasn't part of any of the rental packages that I have, so I had to pay $4.99 to rent it. But yeah, I'm not sure if I saw the deleted scenes or not. It was definitely what I remember. The music was all there. The iconic music was all there.
Yeah, it's probably the 2-hour version. I think the 3-hour version is when they tried to like edit.
Yeah.
Okay, it was almost 3. Interesting.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes and 57 minutes or something. It was a long sit.
Yeah, I wanted to compare notes and just see like what different versions we all saw. Gazzy, how you feeling? Are you alive?
Yeah, just out of run for some water, mad quick, but I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay,
good. Were you saying something, Gazzy, or you want to just move on?
No. I was just agreeing with you both. I was just listening and just 100 agree.
Faux show. Yeah, I don't know. I assume he does like Italian and Spanish food, because he shot so many films out there. Like it was about to suck for him if he didn't. But I mean, I've never heard anybody complain about eating in Italy. So
maybe the prices, but that's it. Not the actual food.
Yeah, maybe now, but back then, I mean, that had to be way before any kind of inflation that we get absolutely walloped with now.
True, it would probably been reasonable then.
I mean, you got to think $250K for Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and also 10% of profit, which I got to assume he's one of the first people to get a 10% profit deal, because I know Sergio Leone was like pissed off about that. So, I mean, it's common now for like Robert Downey Jr. to get it in a Marvel movie, but back then, how many actors were even smart enough to be like, hey, I want part of the box? I mean, that's how Todd Phillips made so much money off Joker 1, because he took like a super small like upfront and then a percentage of and since the movie was like over $1 billion, you know what I mean? The amount of money he made was way more than what they ever would have gave him for production, pre-production, you know what I mean? So I got to say Clint was like way ahead on that, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
But if the gents don't have anything else, let's go straight into plot, lads. I know right off the rip, we are introduced to Tuco pretty early on. In the American Southwest during the Civil War, a mercenary known as Angel Eyes interrogates a former Confederate soldier to learn the alias of a man who stole a stash of Confederate gold. The soldier, Stevens, reveals the man's alias, Bill Carson, and attempts to bribe Angel Eyes to kill his employer before drawing on him. Angel Eyes kills him, returning to his employer, kills him as well. I mean, it's definitely a pretty stunning introduction to Angel Eyes, like especially from what you said, Gaz. Like Mortimer Mimer was like a good guy, and he was on that quest because his sister got killed in an attack. So it was like they totally switched him around from you know what I mean, a decent bounty hunter to just like a bit of a psycho, which is what Sentenza is. Freaking, but
epic character as well. Very dark, very imposing, menacing. One of the standouts, which is testament to this film, aside from all the action pieces, the score, which everybody rightly always talks about, is the three characters, the dynamic.
Hell yeah.
Between
them.
Yeah.
I was just pretty much coming to that. I could get you in as well, Rick. But that's just what I was thinking about. Like, it's kind of funny because like the dynamic of the three characters, but like Tuco, like let's talk about alignment. Tuco is like not a good guy. he's a Mexican bandit. Sentenza, I guess he's some kind of bounty hunter, but he's just going around killing everyone that pays him, including both of his last two targets. That's how you're introduced to him. I mean, Blondie, kind of like what me and Gaz were saying in Dirty Harry and the other movie, like he's the good of the three of them, but he's also just a bounty hunter that kills people.
Yeah.
So really, it's kind of like the not quite bad, but not exactly good. The bad and the ugly.
That's exactly what I was coming down to. Like, hey, Blondie's my man. I love the character. I love the Clint characters, but like the good of those three, sure, but only of those three. Because he's probably not much of a good guy. What do you think about that, Rick, of like Clint kind of taking these characters that are, you know, de facto good, but, you know, he's kind of leaving a bloodbath throughout the film?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, yeah, when you think about it, right? Like out of the three characters, he's definitely the good one. But I mean, yeah, you make a good point. What I liked about this movie too is that they really focus. I like the three characters, and I think under a filming, I'm not a filmmaker, obviously, but it's really hard to show the story of all three of them, and I think they did a good job of that. I think they did a really good job of kind of breaking it up and keeping you engaged in all the characters. And I think Clint, I mean, it's kind of funny though. Like, yeah, they're not like good's a loose term, I guess in the grand scheme of things with these guys. Yeah, he's the good one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What were you saying, guys?
I was just gonna say I love that when Tuco and Blondie get this scheme going.
I love that.
You know, where it's so hilarious. Where Blondie,
it's a good scam.
What they're doing essentially, folks, is Blondie turns Tuco in for the reward money, and then the local town, wherever it is, will hang him in the noose. And then, of course, Blondie shoots him. Well, doesn't shoot him. Shoots the rope on the noose.
Shoots the noose
just
off.
As they're about to hang him. Yeah, so they make their escape. They've got the reward money, etc. But one thing I found very entertaining, one of the most amusing aspects, two things I noticed. One, considering when this film was made, the curse words that Tuco was using, and yes, I understood every single word, which was quite hilarious.
Tuco was awesome. You got the grandfather clock?
And yeah, just why I just muted a second.
Yeah. And
then the other, Ross and Rick, is I think it was possibly on the second attempted hanging of Tuco, where the sheriff is caught Tuco. Blondie's turned him in. He's playing the role, and Tuco's on the floor, and he's calling. I'll try and alternative pronounce this, Ross, because I don't know if we'll get demonetized here. But how can I say this? Tuco's calling him a bee, and he says, like, your father was a bee. They were all bees, and you're a bee. Dude, that scene was epic. The way he delivered it.
Yeah, I thought his performance was awesome. I know Sergio Leone had looked at Gian, what's his name, who played the other villains, guys, but they decided to go with this dude for Tuco, and I thought that was absolutely like kind of the linchpin of what held the movie together, because Tuco is like arguably like the go between Sentenza and Blondie, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So,
Ross, would this be safe to say he was kind of like, you reminded me a bit, and I've seen this movie so many times, but it kind of reminded me of a Joe Pesci in a way, a little bit similar, with his humor and deliverance and his like feisty personality. I got kind of like Joe Pesci vibes from Tuco.
I think you nailed it, because the other actor was the dude me and you were talking about, the villain for those other two movies, but he chose Sergio Leone chose Eli Wallach because he wanted the comedic effect. Like, he was literally chosen for that. Like, obviously Tuco's a bit of a psycho, right? But like Gaz said, he's kind of a jester the way he goes about it. Like, it's all a big joke, even though I'm a bandit and this movie is essentially a bloodbath. You don't really ever see it ever affect Tuco. Like, he just rolls with the punches, you know what I mean? Which kind of made him awesome. Definitely like that performance.
And he has some epic moments in the film as well.
100%. 100%.
Oh yeah,
especially the train scene when we get to it.
Yeah, let's tear up some. The train scene's crazy. Let's tear up some plot. So, in the American Southwest during the Civil War. Wait, did I already do that part? Alias of Man. Oh, yeah, I think I already did that. Kills the employer. So, Mexican bandit Tuco Ramirez, fleeing from bounty hunters, is captured by an unnamed drifter he nicknames Blondie, who delivers him to a sheriff and collects the bounty, as Gaz was saying. Tuco is about to be hanged. Blondie severs the noose with a rifle bullet, and the two escape to split the bounty. They repeat the process in another town, but Blondie grows weary of Tuco's complaints, keeps the money, and strands Tuco in the desert. So it basically becomes this game of cat and mouse of Blondie and Tuco screwing each other over and seeing who can strand who in the desert for longer, and it just becomes this drawn-out thing. I'd say my favorite act is probably Act 3 when we get there. Obviously, the final standoff, and then that bridge, the bridge sequence is pretty sick, guys. So
that was cool.
Talk about those, hell yeah. Ben,
do you like the way the sorry?
No, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, do you like the way they introduce Angel Eyes when he takes our family out at the beginning? They really show that this guy really is villainous. Is going to just take everybody out.
Yeah, he's super. I was going to say, me and Gaz have brought this up before, but like when he slaps around that woman to try to get the name, you know what I mean? It's like, this is kind of stuff you see in these Westerns, which is just like, violence against women type stuff. But you can, as crazy as Tuco is, it's kind of just like part of like his like personality, whereas like Sentenza, like I think he goes further off the deep end than Tuco does, like Tuco's a bandit, he's after the money, so he just has a bunch of like bounty hunters after him, but like Sentenza, he's got a deeper disconnect going on. Yep, 100%. Bent on revenge, Tuco reassembles his gang and tracks down Blondie. Although his gang dies in a failed ambush, Tuco captures Blondie in his hotel room and prepares to hang him. An artillery round destroys the room, allowing Blondie to escape. After a lengthy pursuit, Tuco recaptures Blondie and force marches him through the desert until he collapses in dehydration. That was a good sequence. Yeah, the artillery sequence is crazy with that bombed out and depleted buildings. Like that was just a genius idea. I don't know who came up with that because there was obviously like probably 3 or 4 people involved in writing, but like that was sick.
And Tuco taking a bath. Wow,
the bubble bath, a bubble bath, no less. The funniest thing is when the guy comes in, like you don't think Tuco has his gun in the bath. Like obviously, like he's been pursued by bounty hunters the entire movie. You know what I mean? Like, but the dynamic is hilarious.
I saw that coming a mile away too. And I was like, this, like he's so gonna get shot.
So true, so true. Yeah, that was a cool part. Well, when Blondie shows up, he's like, "Put your drawers on, dude." But yeah, that's a cool. Also, when they link up with each other versus that other gang or the bounty hunters, Angel's Eyes gang or whatever. There's definitely some funny parts in that because obviously Tuco is like walking them down solo and Blondie is like covering him from the side, right? But that one part, Blondie shoots a guy off the roof and they're both like looking at each other every kill and nodding, and he gives him like a smile and a thumbs up. Like it was another one of those moments, like that smile. I was like, he's happy about that. Is that a good thing? He just blew some guy off the roof and dropped a body in the middle of town, and he gives him this little smirk. I'm like, these guys are demented, but it's an amazing film.
Yeah, and I like the scene too where you brought it up, Ross, in the desert when he was he was walking him and he got so dehydrated. But there's so many epic scenes in this. I was really 3 hours is a long sit for a movie, and usually I kind of get bored of it, and this one kept me right glued to the whole movie. And I like that scene. I just felt I was just like, God, the whole time I was watching him slowly dehydrate, I was just like, God, that's got to be a miserable way to go. Like they did such a good job. Dude. Like his leather, like whoever did the makeup on them is incredible because he looks so weathered and leathery and like dehydrated. It looked
special effects, or as they call them, VFX nowadays.
It was amazing. Yeah. And I thought it was a good, because that's where they kind of really introduced this whole chase for the gold and stuff like that. So it was a really important scene, I think.
I like the gold. I like the gold theme.
Yeah, so I just want to add that in.
The Pearson is good, Rick.
Yeah.
So many
Yes.
memorable characters, sharp, witty dialogue,
Yep.
good facial expressions backed up by the score, which sets the scene.
Absolutely.
And it also helps the character-driven stories. This has everything. It's got
For
your
sure.
entertaining action sequences. Then it breaks down for more story back to an action scene. So it is very nicely balanced too.
Yeah, I like what Gaz said about the pacing, because even though it does have these kind of skirmishes and battles, it does keep you right on. Like, okay, we got to get the gold. All three characters are kind of playing this game of cat and mouse and trying to outplay each other to get back to the cemetery and get the gold.
And there's another good thing, Ross. In the later act, just before they take out the bridge, you have the Confederates on one side of the river and the Union on the other side, and it's showing you various artillery, Gatling gun, cannons, mortar.
For sure.
And that was actually good, and something a lot of people skip over, because the American Civil War was one of the first, was pretty much arguably in some ways the first instance of total war in a way, of them using new modern weapons. For
Modern
example,
warfare.
I believe there was even there was a submarine even involved.
Yeah, the Confederates.
So we see that with the way they're using artillery.
Yeah, I thought Sergio Leone absolutely killed that on us. Rick was bringing up the war films. If I'm not mistaken, Lee Van Cleef is in several of those war films. I thought he absolutely killed that scene, guys, as far as the aesthetic. And I don't know who military consultant was, but it looked damn real to me. Obviously, we get to the explosive sequence after that. Another reason why this is the first film in the timeline of the Dollars of the Man with No Name trilogy is Blondie finds the poncho from one of the dead or casualty soldiers. So when he puts that on, he's got it in all three movies. There's also the dude that he it's probably, or maybe it's later on, but Blondie puts his, like, he had that like duster or whatever, he put it over that dying soldier and he let him hit the cigar. You know what I mean? So I thought it was kind of cool that Blondie would actually stop to do that, knowing damn well that the whole movie is about the quest for getting the gold. He kind of showed a little bit more humanity than the other two characters who were a little, Tuco's not a flat out psycho. He's just like a crazy bandit, but like Sentenza arguably at times is a total lunatic. You know what I mean? So it was like the most out of character thing for the three of them.
I love the iconic poncho too. I'm glad you bring up the timeline, Ross. That's important, because I was watching them. As I said, I told Ross they sent me on a 2-day marathon of Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, and I got another one to watch after this. No joke, I'm watching Pale Rider after this. But when I was watching them, I'm like, okay, he got the poncho in the end at that point. Now, why is he wearing it already in these other two?
How's that the third movie, right?
Yeah,
that's.
I was like, this is weird.
There were some hints of when Mortimer read the paper. It showed the year on the article. I actually missed that, guys, because I mean, when we watched 1 and 2, I had no idea all I knew was he made a reference to the war and being post Civil War. So that's all I really gathered. But yeah, there's a little bit more minutia there for big Western fanatics. If you watch it closely, you will get some hints as to the dates. So a runaway ambulance arrives with several dead Confederate soldiers and a barely alive Bill Carson. Near death, Carson begs Tuco for help, offering $200,000 in gold buried in Sad Hill Cemetery. When Tuco returns with the water, Carson has died, having revealed the exact location of the gold to Blondie. I wonder if that's a thing, Gaz, like it becomes a trope in these Westerns, because we were talking about in No Country for Old Men, how Josh Brolin was like felt guilty, so he brought the water back to that dude, but when he brought it back to him, he was dead already. I feel like that was like a throwback to like Good and the Bad and the Ugly type, Dollars trilogy, man with
right,
or I'm totally wrong, but I got to assume the Coen brothers made that movie. They've probably seen every spaghetti western. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that much of a reach.
No, I think you're on point. I mean, there's something. Yeah. I'm going to wait till we get to it, but there's something else I noticed that.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint now, Ross. I don't know if it's intentional, but possibly You could say he's even a Clockwork Orange moment, but I'll wait till we get to
Ooh,
that
nice.
part.
I like that. Yeah, well,
Really?
we know Kubrick did war films, so again, Kubrick is another type of guy where like just assume he's seen everything because of how good his movies are, you know.
Mhm.
Reveal the exact location. Tuco reveals Carsus died. Reveal the exact location of the gold to Blondie. The two reluctantly agree to work together, unwilling to disclose their knowledge of the gold's location. They pose as Confederate soldiers at a mission, while Blondie recovers and Tuco reunites with his brother, a priest who rejects Tuco. Honestly, I think this is where the pacing gets moving, guys, because I like when Tuco and Blondie make the like unholy alliance, you know what I mean, uneasy alliance.
Yeah.
And you know that like, you know, Sentenza is not going to obviously be helping them, so like I think it kind of like the other movie, how he teamed up with Mortimer in the last one, you know what I mean, but it's kind of just what you get used to Blondie doing.
I love the scene, Ross, that Tuco meets his brother. I like that scene. I don't know why.
Yes, that was a good scene.
It was so
what do you think
good.
about his brother being a priest and rejecting him? What's your reaction to that?
I loved it. I thought it was so well done. And I, you know, and then even after when he's leaving and he's talking to Blondie and he's really making a great story how his brother welcomed him, and he always has he'll always be there for him and stuff. It was totally opposite of what really happened, but I thought that was really powerful, and it showed a different side of Tuco. Like you could tell
100%.
there was a really caring part in him, and that his brother meant, his brother's approval really meant something to him. So that's what I took from it. I love that scene.
Hell yeah. What were you saying? Something else?
There was a hint of the tragic history. Because Tuco's brother says, our mother died years ago. Our father passed just a few days ago and was asking for you, but it was only me who was there. So you kind of got these two brothers who had gone in complete different directions, which Tuco even says himself. He did what he had to survive. Yep. And then he says, you were a coward, you became a priest, you were a coward. And then, of course, that leads to the brief physical altercation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If anything, I would say like it seemed realistic, because like if Tuco is really, a bloodthirsty bandit, how is his brother who's a priest going to back that? You know what I mean? So, where do we leave off? Rejects Tuco. They leave the mission and are taken prisoner by Union cavalry. Tuco gives the name Bill Carson, alerting Angel Eyes, who has infiltrated the POW camp as a Union sergeant. Tuco is tortured into revealing the cemetery's name and sent away to be hanged. Knowing torture won't work on Blondie, Angel's Eyes joins forces with him. Tuco escapes from custody and tracks Angel Eyes gang down to a ghost town. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff there. I like that scene between Blondie and Angel Eyes when he's like, if I tortured you, you wouldn't have talked. Also, the Tuco torturing guys, that struck me as like Yo Kimbo when like Toshiro Mifune was tortured, and then they did it again to Clint in A Fistful of Dollars. You know what I mean? It seemed like it was like that same thing of like the the torture scene which got carried on. So,
bro, there's so much in this film which you could see could arguably even be a samurai movie. The way
100%.
The standoffs, everything. And it's funny you mentioned that scene, because and I don't know if this is intentional. This could just be my nerdy mind, folks. When Satanza, hopefully I haven't forgotten his name already, when he is torturing people, and there's the scene with Tuco, and he has the Confederate prisoners playing a theme tune outside.
Yep.
And them singing, and we are then told that he's been torturing prisoners for as long as the fiddle plays outside. It just went in my head, Ross, the Clockwork Orange, with Mozart, the gangs, the violence still committing to the music. That just went in my head, man. So I could be completely way off, but I just thought it was an earlier example of them using using music with violence.
Oh yeah, no. So that's where you're going with Clockwork?
Yeah.
No, I think you're right on that, dude. I think you're right on that. I assume that like Ennio Morricone, like he's considered like that's why John Carpenter wanted him for The Thing, You know, what does the thing really have to do with Westerns? But, you know what I mean? Every Carpenter movie has that Western theme, regardless of how deep, dark sci-fi it is. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would say, you know, much like what we were saying about the weather being a character in Kurosawa, you know, later on when they got more, you know, more music, you know, they got really more production out of the music. You know what I mean? I don't know. We need the chat to weigh in on that. I don't really know anything about the Black Dahlia Avenger, to be honest with you. So, if anybody knows a movie about it, hit us up. To Ghost Town. Distrusting of Angel Eyes, Blondie finds Tuco and kills the gang members, but Angel Eyes escapes. Tuco and Blondie witness a battle over a strategic bridge where they need to cross and blow it up to disperse the armies and clear the path as they wire the bridge with explosives. Tuco suggests they exchange their secrets in case either is killed. Tuco reveals the cemetery's name, and Blondie says Arch Stanton is the name of the grave. We got to unpack this freaking scene. So I love this scene. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens here. First of all, that officer guy that like tries to impress them, like, watch guys, I'm going to lead from the front. Yeah, he just runs in full speed. He was a sick character. I mean, I give it to. I mean, that's how it. Like me and Gaz always tell you guys, that's how it was back then. Both armies lined up in front of each other, and eventually you charge. It seems weird to us now because we bomb people with drones from 500 miles away now, but back then it was literally like face-to-face warfare. You know what I mean? So like, I thought that character did his job. He obviously comes back on the med bed, and he's like shot up in the chest, like kind of ripped up. But when the doctor is like treating him right there, like with the bullet wounds, that's a powerful scene with all the shots to the chest, you know?
Yeah. It's the whole, that whole sequence is epic, even how they get there when Blondie and Tuco are riding the carriage and horse and they see the approaching soldiers, and Tuco, you know, he's playing.
I was just going to bring this up.
Thinks the Confederates, and then you see the officer at the front with his gloves. Just gets rid of some of the dust and off his uniform, and then you see they're obviously the Union troops. It's hilarious. And
what a great scene.
Blondie turns around and says, something like, God isn't with us, God thinks we're idiots. Something like that.
And even what they say about the captain, I think Tuco says like, hey, I don't know about you, Blondie, but he's like, I think this captain has like a death wish for like a bullet in the gut. And when he comes after, he's like, hey guys, watch this. And he comes back up. He got shot up because he was like ran in first. You know what I mean? So it's kind of nuts. Shout out to go ahead, Ricky.
I was just gonna say like that on that what we're talking about. I thought that I was thinking of the sets that they must have built for all of this. That's what I kept thinking. I was just like,
yeah, dude,
these sets were enormous. I don't know how they did it with the budget they had. I'm just sitting there going, this is so epic in the filming and the sets. And
great point. And
I was just especially the bridge scene. I was just like, geez, like,
yeah, no, I mean, obviously the bridge got blown out, so you got to assume that's not there. Go ahead, guys.
I was just coming in on what Rick was saying there. The trenches, the whole cinematography on this shows you the formations, as I mentioned earlier, the way they were using the mortars, Gatling guns, cannons, the charge across the bridge, showing you how futile it was, but literally that's what they were kind of having to do from 16th century onwards. Crazy says, let's like stand in front of each other in a line and shoot at each other. So it shows you that craziness. And then the captain is good. The captain is good because we see a man who's become disillusioned with the whole conflict. So there's that sort of undertone. Like, I can't take the bridge out, you know, because I'll be court-martialed even if I dream about it. And he's kind of like, is he giving Blondie and Tuco a hint? And then, of course,
for sure. Because when he's on the bed and he like smiled to himself, right? And he's like, they did it. So he kind of knew that they were going to do it, which was sick.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, first of all, shout out to Cheryl. She answered Cloud's question. There was one with Josh Hartnett, Hillary Swank a few years ago, but doesn't follow the case. And then apparently there was another.
I can't see the chat, folks, in the moment. So
yeah, I'll hold you down. And apparently there was a whack one with Lucy Arnaz, but that's all we know about that. So when they go to get the explosive and they go to bring it down there, for one, they're bringing back the wounded soldiers on the the skiffs, and they go and like they obviously dump that guy on the ground. He's like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" And they just like flip him over, and they take it so they could move the bombs. I'm like, "Oh man, that was foul, man. That was foul."
Do you think it would have made a good safety commercial, Ross, for Blondie smoking over the box of explosives?
Yeah, smoking right next to it when Tuco looks at him like, dude, your cigar. You know what I mean? He lights everything with that. He lights the fuse, like, dude. So freaking Blondie's cigar is like Toshiro Mifune's Sanjuro katana, man. You do not see them apart. But so we're getting to the explosive part. Also, how the other like Red Cross dudes are down there, like picking up the bodies. And then they were going under the bridge with the bombs, and they faked like they made it look like they were going to go start picking up bodies until the guys walked away. And I'm like, yeah, obviously you're just wiring freaking explosive down here. You know what I mean? So it's about to get real. I'll pick us up on plot. Go ahead, Gazzy. You have something?
Yeah, it was a scene. Just wanted to back us up a bit on Tuco's escape. You know, when him and Blondie are captured by the Union troops, and Tuco's put in a train. You know, I think he's going to be hanged, and he gets his revenge on the bullying sergeant. Tries to, trying to avoid some of the spoilers here, but he tries to break the chain between them both.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ross, he lines the chain up on the track.
That was awesome.
That was insane.
That was grimy. That was a grindhouse element, body disposal there. Why couldn't he shoot the pistol though? Was it unloaded or
he could? I don't know. He seemed to be having trouble.
Yeah, it was jammed or it was
unloaded. He tries to hit it with the butt, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that doesn't break it either. So yeah, that was pretty cool. There's a similar train scene in 1923 season 2 that reminded me of, but yeah, no, that's just like more Tuco character building, which was sick. Obviously, blowing up the bridge was crazy. And then also what they said about it too was like, hey, if we blow up the bridge, these idiots will have to go fight somewhere else. Because it'll take away the strategic point. But and also
the way it was shot.
I was just gonna say Blondie's quote.
The way it was shot, Ross.
Yeah. Blondie's quote. He said, like, I've never seen so many good men wasted for such like a bad reason. You know what I mean? Right. So that kind of like encapsulated the whole Civil War of Americans fighting Americans.
And I couldn't help giggle either when the just before they blow the bridge up, and they've got the carrier and the poison as medical staff, and you've got the box of explosives. I'm like, nobody's noticed it says explosives on the side.
Well, they kept faking it. They put it down, and then when they saw the other guys, they kept pretending they were gonna like. It's like you might as well just like throw a guy on there and throw the box on top of him, like fucking loons. But it's an epic scene, and then the way it transitions into Tuco finding the graveyard. That's pretty crazy too. Obviously, him trying to run away and beat Blondie to the grave, and then Blondie firing cannonballs at him with a cigar.
That was awesome.
Yeah, love that scene.
I'll tell you one thing I love about these movies too, guys. This is just something I like. I was talking when we were watching it, Nathan and I was like, God, what I miss is these trained horses. Because I watched the whole documentary on these westerns and how these horses.
Hell yeah.
These were real horses that were trained to do flips and like dive and stuff like that on the ground. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but I've always loved that about these movies. This is something I like. The amount of training that goes in just to the horse to do a scene.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy.
Blondie, Tuco gets shot off of the horse, which is crazy. I mean, that's almost a bit like Sisu 1. Gaz, when freaking Atami's gets marched into the minefield on the horse, you know what I mean? So similar type of thing. Obviously, the horse doesn't live in that one, but I got to assume. I don't know how they pull that out. I mean, nowadays it's like you CGI a horse and it's just a guy on a stool. But like the point Rick is making back then, when you didn't have a crutch of computer generated graphics. pretty wild. So
yeah, I saw a whole documentary on it, how they train these stunt horses, and it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Like you see them on the work, and I don't think people realize that. Like, because we're used to CGI now, everything like Ross said is CGI.
Yep.
But back then,
Yep.
these were real real stuntmen, real stuntmen and horses that were trained to dive. It's crazy.
Hell yeah. Well,
that's a very good point, Rick, because in some of those old war movies, they'll show you Indian soldiers from the British Raj where they used to hang on the side of the horse and essentially snipe. And you know, to a distance, the people would just see a horse coming towards them and there's no rider, but the guy's like hanging off on the side. Now, back then, as you said, there's no CGI. So they must have had in expert riders and train the horses to do these scenes. It must have been absolutely painstaking. Where probably more hours gone into doing that than now, because as you said, Rick, we can just CGI it.
Yep.
What's that, Fire Pixie? Well, good news for you is when Tuco gets out of his bubble bath, he's butt naked, and that's more Tuco ass for you. So shout out to Fire Pixie, our mod. I'm sure she'll be happy. I'm sure you noticed some things about Clint and Tuco in this film. So blow up the bridge, basically the fight on the way into the cemetery. And that pretty much brings us into the final showdown. Where was I? The bridge. Tuco suggests, So Tuco reveals the name. Blondie says, After the bridge is demolished, Tuco rushes towards Sad Hill to claim the gold for himself. Blondie catches up with him as he digs up the grave, and Angel Eyes arrives soon after. Okay, that part when when Blondie throws him the shovel. And he's like, there's like two types of guys, like a guy with a gun and a guy that digs. And then like Angel Eyes comes up behind him, throws another shovel. And he's like, well, two diggers are way faster than one. Like that was a sick sequence. That was awesome.
Dude, the whole way it's set up with the score, you know, the ecstasy of gold, Tuco running around the graveyard trying to find the correct one. Absolutely legendary. Epic,
that was
sick. And then, of course, Lee Van Cleef's appearance, as you just said there, Ross. Awesome.
Yeah.
When Tuco gets into the Sad Hill Cemetery, a dog runs by on the right side of the screen in the kind of like aerial shot. And like I guess that we're supposed to like that was a dog dipping from the battle or something. Maybe like one of the I don't know if they had dogs in the Civil War, but I thought that was cool too.
If you watch the scene, Ross, because I played this back because I thought it was that dog actually yips. I don't know why. I don't know if he runs into a grave or runs into something, but he's running awesome. And he does that like yip. And I was like, what
that's
happened?
Awesome. I don't know if that was just like a little stunt thing that they let off. Now I know that there is, believe with the movie, I don't have a hard copy, guys, but there is a documentary that goes into like more in depth in the making of it. So maybe they mentioned that in there.
Yeah, it was just weird. I just caught that and I was like, that's weird, but.
Jack is in a secret, undisclosed location, so he's being a polite.
I've got a bit of a winter cold.
He's got a winter cold. He's being a polite Brit, something we're not used to on Paradigm Radio.
do it ASMR.
Ross is used. Ross is used to how I talk when we're not live on here, which is
it's not the same.
Different. We'd be we'd be demonetized within 10 seconds.
Instantly.
A lot of,
Take anything that Gaz says on here and just add an F word of your choice between every word, and that's much closer than to how he really talks.
I had to learn how to do that, guys, on radio because you can't. They don't like swearing on radio, especially local
Red
radio.
Cloud just keeps going on and on about Final Destination Bloodlines. I mean, the earlier ones are okay. I mean, shout out to Candyman's last role. I think it's that, but I don't know. I haven't gotten back into that. So when no gold is found in the grave, Blondie admits lying about the name. He then places a stone in the middle of the cemetery's pavement on which he says the true name is written. Now, you already seen how Blondie does in these first two movies, but like, how can you fake like writing something on that? Like, wouldn't you be like, hey, dude, I love how they just all go with the plan, right? It's like, hey, dude, show me that from far away so I can see that you wrote something on it. You know what I mean?
I was like, what's he on the rock? I was like, his cigar or something? I didn't know what he was going to use.
Charcoal.
Charcoal or something, but like, what an epic scene.
This is dope. The framing is insane of the long shot with all three of them backing into the quarters.
Think of this set just for that scene.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I mean, that's so epic. Every
Hell yeah.
every scene seems to be like this epic stage, like that they
100%.
they filmed on it. And we're missing that. I think we're missing a lot of that with this CGI and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I think we're missing something.
I agree.
Yeah, it's got soul and it's got substance, as we were saying earlier.
Yep.
It's,
right.
Character, emotion, parts where you don't always need dialogue, and they show that with the facial expressions.
Right.
Music is perfect. I was reading about this, that they had full control over the music, whereas now sometimes soundtracks and scores are forced on them, which really don't go with what we're seeing on screen.
Oh, I agree.
Thinking, well, who gave the green light for this whack? So
that is crazy.
So completely, 100% good point. There's something I want to ask you both on this, and perhaps somebody knows in the chat. When they're facing off for the final duel, and of course we've got the score going, did my ears hear correctly? Just for a couple of seconds, we hear the pocket watch theme from the second movie. Colonel Mortimer.
Probably.
Yes.
I don't know the answer, but I would say probably.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So did you hear that as well, Rick?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
that's a good touch, actually.
Nice little touch.
Yeah. Give you another little
jewel. Yeah.
Easter egg. Yep, for sure. No, 100%. Yeah, I was gonna send you a track that has that sample in it, Gaz. I'll send it to you after the show. It's a hip hop track, but you'll instantly recognize it. There's obviously the good and the bad and the ugly. I think the Ecstasy of Gold, that if that's what the track's called, that's been sampled like a million times.
Metallica still comes out.
Yep. That's I read that on Wiki. Yep.
Yeah, Metallica comes out to that when they do their live shows, and I still get goosebumps from that song, that score. I really do.
Totally, man.
Like you hear that
totally,
and that.
Man.
Yeah, like you hear that and you think Western, like your mind immediately, even if you don't even know Westerns. I don't know, but that's so powerful of a score. That's
Ennio Morricone. He's the best in the biz.
Yeah.
Talking of scores and epic moments, I think somebody did request this a long time ago. Pixie, I'll do an ASMR final rating for you soon. Around and all of that. So at Christmas, New Year, it's a bit difficult at the moment at this time of year.
He's going to read punk rock history ASMRs.
What about if we add to the classics, to the PXF classics, Where Eagles Dare, Richard Burton, Clint Eastwood, where they do that commando raid, and that's another film where they're using the score to back up the sequences, and Iron Maiden often play that theme. I think on their from that. I'm not going to do it because I'll.
Dope.
You are correct.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Don't make us all go deaf. Send me the link, guys. I haven't seen that one. But I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So the final fight, the three men face each other in a Mexican standoff. Angel Eyes draws first, but Blondie shoots him before he can fire. Tuco finds that his gun is empty as Blondie walks confidently towards him, realizes that Blondie unloaded it earlier. He's like, what the hell? You gave me an empty gun. It's like, I think before you get into a standoff, you would probably check the chamber.
Yeah.
Tuco didn't do that. So, Blondie reveals that the gold is in the grave next to Stanton's, marked unknown. After Tuco digs up several large bags of gold, Blondie orders him at gunpoint into a hangman's noose. With hands bound, Tuco stands atop a rickety grave marker while Blondie takes half the gold and rides away. As Tuco screams for mercy, Blondie severs the rope with a rifle shot, dropping Tuco face first onto the remaining gold. Tuco furiously curses Blondie, who smiles before riding over the nearby hills. Just that final scene of like Tuco running into the camera, screaming like a lunatic. I'm like, the hell, this is how this movie ends. First of all, let's talk about how Santezza got completely ethered in that shootout.
Dude, I was just about to say that. Dude, Rick, the way he conveniently falls into the grave that's already been made.
Yeah,
Clint, man,
that was awesome.
Shoots his hat into the grave and shoots his gun into the grave.
Shoots his gun and his hat, and he's just walking by like. Okay, I was like, can anybody have that aim that's that good? Like, is that realistic? Like, it looks awesome in the movie, but I'm like, is there anything real about that? I don't know. You know what I mean? But it makes for one of the best endings ever. Like, I'll say, like, I don't know if this is the best movie in the Dollars trilogy, but I'll say it definitely has the best ending just because of the bridge sequence and this final shootout in the Sad Hill Cemetery.
It was a great standoff. And what I liked about the standoff too was you don't see this a lot in modern movies from what I can see. When they were showing just the eyes of each of them, they really dragged that out an incredibly long time for a movie scene to build that suspense. Like I remember sitting there going, "Wow!" Like they're really dragging this out, but it added something.
Yeah, like that's a Sergio Leone thing with the close-ups on the eyes, and then not even that juxtaposed with the wide shots of the cemetery. You know what I mean? So it's like the close-up on their eyes, so you let you know like what's going on like in their mind and on their face, and then like showing you the whole scene from far away. Like and again, like we talked about that with Kurosawa, Gaz, but I think like Sergio Leone was like the first like modern dude, as Rick said, modern at the time, to take that over into the, I guess, Western cinema. Obviously, Tarantino obviously talks about these movies all the time, and so it had a massive influence on him, and Carpenter, Rodriguez, as I've said, all of these guys. So definitely interesting.
Yeah, and this is where Satanza, hope I've got his name correct. The camera, as I said earlier, follows his eyes more than Blondie and Tuco, because Satanza is thinking, is Blondie and Tuco going to work against me? Because they've had this kind of
for sure
partnership throughout
paranoia.
And the way Blondie just casually shoots Satanza as well. Like, I'm not knocking the film. I think this film is awesome. But, compared to the others where he takes them out still fast, but like very professionally, whereas this is almost, it's like so calm, Ross, probably because he's that good and at that level, kind of like a gunslinger version of the samurai. Just like watch it, 100%. That's it, boom, and he's out. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, this Man with No Name is like heavily based on like Sanjuro, you know what I mean? So like that's supposed to give you that same feel, you know what I mean? Other than that, unless any other final thoughts on either of those scenes, Rick, the bridge or the shootout?
No, I loved it. I loved it. I really did, and I love the part too where at the end where he puts him in the noose, and the whole time he's yelling at him while Blondie's right. Yeah, I was laughing, and I knew he was going to come back. I'm like, he's just torturing these guys. I love the dynamic between those two through the whole movie. They just love back torturing each other.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Like, but I knew he'd come back and shoot him down. But it was like and that was another scene that they've really drug out. Like they really let that scene go and go and go and go. And I think that's master film making that we don't have that so much now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just get it way fewer and far betweener now. But it's also interesting that like Sergio Leone, they we'll talk about it at the end. They one of the writers had a treatment for a sequel. And Sergio Leone was just like done with it. He didn't really want to do any more Dollars or another Western. So it just never got off the ground. But, I think you do get it few and far between. I don't think you get it as regularly as like, obviously Sergio Leone directed 3 of these basically back to back. So, it's not, and also keep in mind how I started out, guys. People were hating on this when it came out, like, oh, another spaghetti Western where Clint Eastwood's going to blow everybody away. Like, that was the narrative at the time. Obviously, time proved that wrong. But, a lot like we said about, what was the other one? I think The Thing. I mean, there's a lot of movies that have come out and have just, like, not done well for whatever reason at the box office. And then later on, done Boondock Saints. Obviously, they got their theater run got shut down. So it's a pretty common story where something comes out and the critics go write their articles and tell you how bad it is, and then the fans are like, that's not what I think, and we're the ones.
I love movies like that. I love when fans make a movie a classic. And the movie that I can think of off the top of my head is a movie called Trick or Treat that was done, and it's about a rock star that comes back from the dead basically, and it's an iconic movie. Try to find it. I got it on DVD. Yeah, no. God, I'm trying to explain it.
I know what
It's
movie
not the
he's
one where
talking
he's
about, but I
using
never
electric,
seen it.
killing people with the electric guitar, is it?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
Shooting labels. I've seen it,
and,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and
it's a good movie.
it's a
I
great
haven't seen
movie.
that.
It bombed, totally bombed. It had Gene Simmons
Yeah,
in it. It had Ozzy Osbourne. They had some names in it. Totally
interesting.
bombed. But now the fans love it. It's a classic, and it's hard to
Yeah,
find.
no, for sure. It's, I mean, and again,
Yeah.
look at how far back this goes because this was 66.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? So,
Yep.
so let's get into some wiki. The trio, the cast: Eastwood as Blondie, the man with no name; the good, a taciturn, confident bounty hunter who, to find buried gold, temporarily teams up with Tuco and Angel Eyes. Blondie and Tuco have an ambivalent partnership. Tuco knows the name of the cemetery where the gold is hidden, but Blondie knows the name of the grave where it is buried, forces them to work together to find the treasure. Despite this greedy quest, Blondie's pity for the dying soldiers and the chaotic carnage of war is evident. I've never seen so many men wasted so badly, he remarks. He also comforts a dying soldier by laying his coat over him and letting him smoke a cigar. Eli Wallach as Tuco, Benedicto Pacifico, Juan Maria Ramirez, known as the Rat, according to Blondie. The ugly, fast-talking, comically oafish, yet also cunning, cagey, resilient, resourceful Mexican bandit who is wanted by the authorities for a long list of crimes. Lee Van Cleef as Angel Eyes, the bad, a ruthless, confident, sadistic mercenary. That's the exact word you use, guys, who takes pleasure in killing and always finishes a job for which he is paid, usually tracking an assassination. Got a bunch of the supporting cast there. We won't go into many of them. I'll rip up some pre-production. Get your glass on spring. After the success of For a Few Dollars More, executives at United Artists approached the film screenwriter Luciano Vincenzoni to sign a contract for the rights of the film and the production of its sequel, along with producers Alberto Grimaldi and Sergio Leone. Vincenzoni pitched an idea about a film about three rogues who are looking for some treasure at the time of the American Civil War. An agreement was struck with UA for $1 million budget, with the studio advancing $500,000 up front and 50% of the box office takings outside of Italy. The total budget was eventually increased to $1.2 million. As Leone developed Vincenzoni's idea into a script, he built upon the screenwriter's original concept to show the absurdity of war, the Civil War, which the characters encounter. In my frame of reference, it is useless, stupid. It does not involve a good cause. Saying, I had read somewhere that 120,000 people died in southern camps, such as Andersonville. Many shots in the film were influenced by archival Civil War photographs taken by Matthew Brady and Alexander Gardner. As the film took place during the Civil War, it served as a prequel for the other two films in the trilogy, which took place after the war. The three main characters all contained autobiographical elements of Leone. Film director Alex Cox suggested that the cemetery buried gold hunted by the protagonists may have been inspired by rumors surrounding the anti-communist Gladio organization, who hid many of their 138 weapons and caches in cemeteries. The film's working title was I Do Magnifici Straccioni, the two magnificent tramps. It was changed just before shooting began when Vincenzoni thought of I buono, I brutto, I cattivito, the good, the ugly, the bad, which Leone loved. I don't like that original title. I don't know about you guys, the two magnificent tramps.
No.
Doesn't have the same ring to it. Doesn't have the same ring to
Doesn't
it. Sorry.
know.
It doesn't, no. In the U.S., United Artists considered using the original Italian translation, River of Dollars, or The Man with No Name, but decided the good, the bad, and the ugly. River of Dollars is pretty fresh. I like that, but also it's not as like connected to the first two, you know, dollars-wise, because this one's kind of about gold and all that. Casting.
I think this title emphasizes the characters.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Even though like the Italian version's in a different order, I think it still gets it done. After Leone offered Clint Eastwood a role in his next movie, traveling to California to persuade him, Eastwood agreed to make the film, playing Blondie upon being paid $250K and receiving 10% of the profits from the North American markets, a deal with which Leone was not happy. The director originally considered Gian Maria Volante, that's the guy I was telling you about, guys, who portrayed the villains in both the preceding films, for the role of Tuco, but he felt that the role required somebody with natural comic talent. And like you were saying, guys, in the end, Leone chose Eli Wallach based on his role in Railroad Scene of How the West Was Won. I don't think I've seen How the West Was Won, to be honest with you guys.
I don't think so either.
Meeting Leone, Wallach was skeptical about playing this type of character again, but immediately agreed after Leone screened the opening credit sequence for a few dollars more. The two men got along well, sharing the same bizarre sense of humor. Leone allowed Wallach to make changes to his character in terms of his outfit and recurring gestures. Both Eastwood and Van Cleef realized that the character of Tuco was close to Leone's heart, and the director and Wallach also became good friends. They communicated in French, which Wallach spoke badly and Leone spoke well. Van Cleef observed, Tuco is the only one of the trio the audience gets to know all about. We meet his brother and find out where he came from and why he became a bandit. I mean, that's a great point. You don't really find out anything about Angel Eyes and Blondie.
Yeah,
for the role of Angel Eyes, Leone originally wanted Enrico Maria Salerno, who had dubbed Eastwood's voice for the Italian versions of the Dollars Trilogy films, or Charles Bronson, but the latter was already committed to playing in The Dirty Dozen. That's a war movie for you, Rick.
Oh, yeah.
Leone eventually wished to work with Lee Van Cleef again, saying, I said to myself that Van Cleef had first played a romantic character, and for a few dollars more, the idea of getting him to play a character who was the opposite of that began to appeal to me. Yeah, that kind of where we were going, guys, because, I mean, obviously, like, if you don't really know much about the Dollars Trilogy, you could get kind of tripped up there. Like, you know, it seemed like Van Cleef was a good guy in the last one, and, you know, depending on what order you're watching him in, so... But I like it, you know what I mean? I think it definitely differentiates it from the last one. The set of The Good, I'm looking at a picture, The Good and the Bad, the Ugly, with the distinctive rugged terrain set in the background. And Sad Hill Cemetery photographed in 2016. So it looks like that's still there. You were bringing up the filming locations, Rick. So I was going to say, if and when I make it out to Europe, that could be a mission for Gaz to try to track down some of these sets in Spain or Italy, wherever. See if we can get anything vlogged for you guys, because it'd be cool to see that for real. You know what I mean?
I'm going to answer that one off air, Ross.
But don't worry, Gazzy.
You know it.
My cowboy hat has enough bravado for both of us, laddie. The production began at the Landman, baby. I've been watching it with Billy Bob Thornton. Production began in the Cinecittà studio in Roma mid-May 66. Then it moved to Spain's northern plateau region near Burgos, which doubled for the southwestern United States, and again in southern Spain's Almeria. The production required elaborate sets. This is what Rick was talking about, including a town under cannon fire, an extensive prison camp, and an American Civil War battlefield for the climax. Several hundred Spanish soldiers were employed to build a cemetery with several thousand gravestones and wooden crosses to resemble an ancient Roman circus. A scene where a bridge was blown up had to be filmed twice because the explosions destroyed all three cameras in the first take. Okay, I didn't know that one.
Wow. That's mad. That's mad.
When people say like action movies are fake, like Rick was saying, you got to specify which era of action films you're talking about. Because back then, Sergio Leone was like, yes, that was perfect. Wait, our cameras did what? You know what I mean? Nothing like getting the shot and then just blowing up all your equipment with dynamite.
God, wow.
So nuts.
That is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take the mods with us, Pixie. I don't know if we'll be live streaming, but we'll get you in the mix. We'll get you in the mix. Don't worry about it. This is PXF. We have, you know what I mean, unlimited bags of gold given to us by Blondie. You know what I mean? So, all right.
A secret colony on Mars already. You know, Musk has got nothing on me.
Gaz has it all worked out. You know what I mean? He's already mining Pluto. Like this guy's on top of it. Italian cinematographer Tonino Delicoli was brought in to shoot the film and was prompted by Leone to pay more attention to lighting than in the previous two films. The score was again composed by Ennio Morricone for the final Mexican standoff in the cemetery. Leone asked Morricone to compose what felt like the corpses were laughing from inside of their tombs. Filming concluded in July 66. That's a crazy description, right? Like, that is just sick. Eastwood was displeased with the script and was concerned he might be upstaged by Wallach. In the first film, I was alone, he told Leone. In the second, we were two. Here we are three. This is exactly what we were talking about with the three-character dynamic. If it goes on this way, in the next one, I'll be starring with the American Cavalry. As Eastwood played hard to get, this guy's the man, dude. Eastwood played hard to get, accepting the role, inflating his earnings to $250K, 2 Ferraris, and 10% of the profits in the U.S. when eventually released there. He was again encountering public disputes between Ruth Marsh, who urged him to accept the third film of the trilogy, and the William Morris Agency and Irving Leonard, who were unhappy with Marsh's influence on the actor. I'm like, I think he did fine with the 2 Ferraris back then, which are worth God knows what in today's money.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then 10% of the film, obviously, cleaned up. Eastwood banished Marsh from having any further influence in his career, and he fired her as her business manager. Got her! Let me see. Okay. Wallach and Eastwood flew to Madrid together. In between shooting scenes, Eastwood would relax and practice his golf swing. Wallach was almost poisoned during filming when he accidentally drank from a bottle of acid that a film technician had set next to his soda bottle. Yeah, what, dude?
Damn.
What? Way to poison one of the 3 stars. Wallach mentioned this in his auto bio and complained that while Leone was a brilliant director, he was very lax about ensuring safety of his actors during dangerous scenes. He's got a point there. For instance, in one scene when he was to be hanged after a pistol was fired, the horse underneath it was supposed to bolt. When the rope around Wallach's neck was severed, the horse was frightened a little too well. It galloped for about a mile with Wallach still mounted and his hands bound behind his back. Okay, that's insane. The third time, dude, this guy's auto bio must be crazy. The third time Wallach's life was threatened was during a scene where he and Mario Brega, who are chained together, jump out of a moving chain. The jumping part went as planned, but Wallach's life was endangered when his character attempted to sever the chain binding him to the now dead soldier. Tuco placed the body on the railroad tracks, waiting for the train to roll over the chain and sever it. Wallach and presumably the entire film crew were not aware of the heavy iron steps that jutted 1 foot out of every boxcar. If Wallach had stood up from his prone position at the wrong time, one of the jutting steps could have decapitated him.
Wow.
It's a hectic set, guys. Hollywood filmmaking. The bridge in the film was constructed twice by sappers of the Spanish army and rigged for on-camera explosive demolition. On the first occasion, an Italian camera operator signaled that he was ready to shoot, which was misconstrued by an army captain as the similar-sounding Spanish word meaning start. Nobody was injured in the resulting explosion. The army rebuilt the bridge while other shots were filmed. As the bridge was not a prop, but a rather heavy and sturdy functional structure, powerful explosives were required to destroy it. Leone said that this scene was in part inspired by Buster Keaton's silent film, The General. Haven't seen it, Gazzy, but it sounds pretty sick.
Me either. Maybe we could take a look at it.
We'll take a look and see if we can find a trailer. As an international cast was employed, actors performed in their native languages. Eastwood, Van Cleef, and Wallach spoke English and were dubbed into Italian for their debut releases in Rome. For the American version, the lead acting voices were used, but support cast members were dubbed into English. The result is noticeable in the bad synchronization of voices to lip movements on screen. None of the dialogue is completely in sync because Leone rarely shot his scenes with synchronized sound. Various reasons have been cited for this. Leone often liked to play Morricone's music over a scene and possibly shout things at the actors to get them in the mood. My kind of Italian director. Leone cared more for visuals than dialogue. His English was limited at best. Given the technical limitations of the time, recording the sound clearly would have been difficult in most of the extremely wide shots Leone frequently used. Also, it was standard practice in Italian films at this time to shoot silently in post-dub. Whatever the actual reason, all dialogue in the film was recorded in post-production. By the end of filming, Eastwood had finally had enough of Leone's perfectionist directorial traits. Leone insisted, often forcefully, on shooting scenes from many different angles, paying attention to the most minute of details, which often exhausted the actors. Leone, who was a beast Leone, who was obese, prompted amusement through his excesses, and Eastwood found a way to deal with the stresses of being directed by him by making jokes about it and nicknamed him Yosemite Sam for his bad temper. So good. After the film was completed, Eastwood never worked with Leone again, later turning down the role of harmonica in Once Upon a Time in the West, for which Leone had personally flown to LA to give him the script. The role eventually went to Charles Bronson. Years later, Leone exacted his revenge upon Eastwood during the film of Once Upon a Time in America, when he described Eastwood's ability as an actor as being like a block of marble or wax and inferior to the acting abilities of Robert De Niro, saying, Eastwood moves like a sleepwalker between explosions and hails of bullets, and he is always the same, a block of marble. Bobby, first of all, is an actor, and Clint, first of all, is a star. Bobby suffers and Clint yawns. Eastwood later, oh, damn it, I clicked the link, my bad. Eastwood later gave a friend the poncho he wore in the 3 films, and it was subsequently displayed in a Mexican restaurant in Carmel, California. Okay, I'm going to have to look up where Carmel is, guys, because I wonder if that's still there.
Yeah.
City in Monterey County. I'm going to check that out. Let's see here. I'll do cinematography. In its depiction of violence, Leone used his signature long drawn and close-up style of filming, which he did by mixing extreme face shots and sweeping long shots. By doing so, Leone managed to stage epic sequences punctuated by extreme eyes and face shots, or hands slowly reaching for a holstered gun. Leone also incorporated music to heighten the tension and pressure before and during the film's many gunfights. In filming the pivotal gunfights, Leone largely removes dialogue to focus more on the actions of the characters, which was important during the film's iconic Mexican standoff. This style could also be seen in one of the film's protagonists, Blondie, the man with no name, who is described by critics as more defined by his actions than his words. All 3 characters can be seen as anti-heroes killing for their personal gain. This is what I was saying, guys. Leone also employed trick shooting, such as Blondie shooting the hat off a person's head and severing a hangman's noose with a well-placed shot in many of the film's noted shootouts. Wow. Where was I? Themes. We'll do themes and music. Themes. Like many of his films, director Sergio Leone noted that the film is a satire of the Western genre. Yeah, I was wondering about this, guys. He has noted the film's theme of emphasis on violence and the deconstruction of Old West romanticism. The emphasis on violence is seen in how the 3 leads, Blondie, Angel Eyes, and Tuco, are introduced to various acts of violence. With Blondie, it is seen in his attempt to free Tuco, which results in a gun battle. Angel Eyes is set up in a scene where he learns about hidden treasure from Stevens, kills Stevens when he draws on him, then his employer Baker, fulfilling his title as the Bad. Tuco is set up in a scene in which 3 bounty hunters try to kill him. In the film's opening scene, 3 bounty hunters enter a building in which Tuco is hiding. After the sound of gunfire is heard, Tuco escapes through a window after shooting the 3, one of whom survives. They are all after gold and will stop at nothing till they get it. The film deconstructs Old West romanticism by portraying the characters as anti-heroes. Even the character considered by the film as the good can still be considered as not living up to that title in a moral sense. As I said, critic Drew Martin describes it as a Baroque manipulation that criticizes the American ideology of the Western by replacing the heroic cowboy popularized by John Wayne with morally complex anti-heroes. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Negative themes such as cruelty and greed are also given focus and are traits shared by the 3 leads in the story. Cruelty is shown in the character of Blondie and how he treats Tuco throughout the film. He is seen to sometimes be friendly with him, and in other scenes double-cross him and throw him to the side. It is shown in Angel Eyes through his attitudes in the film and his tendency for committing violent acts throughout the film. For example, when he kills Stevens, he also kills his son. That's what Gaz was talking about. It is also seen when he is violently torturing Tuco later in the film. It is shown in Tuco how he shows his concern for Blondie when he is heavily dehydrated, but in truth, he's only keeping him alive to find the gold. It is also shown in his conversation with his brother, which reveals that a life of cruelty is all he knows. Richard Aquila writes, the violent anti-heroes of Italian Westerns also fit into folk tradition in southern Italy that honored mafioso and vigilante who used any means to combat corrupt government or church officials who threatened the peasants of the Mezzogiorno. Yeah, you've heard me talk about that, guys, with the Vendicosi and the Venticatori.
Yeah.
Greed is shown in the film throughout its main core plot line of the three characters wanting to find the 200K, equivalent to 6 million in 2024. That Bill Carson has said is buried in a grave in said Sad Hill Cemetery. The main plot concerns their greed, as there is a series of double crossings and changing allegiances to get the gold. Russ Hunter writes that the film will stress the formation of homosocial relationships as being functional only in the pursuit of wealth. Many critics also noticed the film's anti-war theme taking place in the American Civil War. The film takes the viewpoint of people such as civilians, bandits, and most notably soldiers, and presents their daily hardships during the war. This is seen in the film's rugged and rough aesthetic. The film has an air of dirtiness that can be attributed to the Civil War, and in turn it affects the actions of people, showing how the war deep down has affected the lives of many people. A scene in the extended version presents Angel Eyes arriving in the embattled Confederate outpost. Angel Eyes show compassion towards the agonizing soldiers, pointing out that even the bad is shocked by the horror of the wars. That would be an interesting deleted scene.
Yeah.
And I know you were talking about war films, Rick. So this is like what me and guys were saying. Like a lot differentiates this from the first two.
That's right.
The order they're made, like this having the war themes, the anti-war themes, definitely interesting. Although not fighting in the war, the three gunslingers gradually become entangled in the battles that ensue, similar to the Great War, a film that screenwriters Luciano Vincenzoni and Ajay and Scarpelli had contributed to. I don't know if I've seen that either, guys. Looks like an Italian film, but I'll check it out. I'll check it out. An example of this is how Tuco and Blondie blow up a bridge to disperse two sides of the battle. They need to clear a way to the cemetery and succeed in doing so. It is also seen in how Angel Eyes disguises himself as a Union sergeant so he can attack and torture Tuco to get the information he needs, intertwining himself in the battle in the process. Let me just bump ahead here and just see what else is left, because and also how long have we been on here? Okay, well, we're gonna keep it rolling. You guys will live. If you got to dip at any point, Gazzy, you can do your rating. You know what I mean? Just stop me. Music,
I'm fine, dude.
Music. The score is composed by frequent Leone collaborator Ennio Morricone. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly broke previous conventions on how the two had previously collaborated. Instead of scoring the film in the post-production stage, they decided to work on the themes together before shooting had started. This was so that the music helped inspire the film instead of the film inspiring the music. Leone even played the music on set and coordinated camera movements to match the music. The vocals of Italian singer Edia Dell'Orso are sung in the composition of The Ecstasy of Gold. I don't know who any of these guys are, so I'm going to skip ahead of that. The only song to have a lyric is The Story of a Soldier, the words of which were written by Tommy Connor. Morricone uses several unusual instruments such as gunfire, whistling, and yodeling. The main theme, resembling the howling of a coyote, which blends in with an actual coyote howl in the first shot after the opening credits, is a two-pitch melody that is a frequent motif and is used for the three main characters. A different instrument was used for each: flute for Blondie, ocarina for Angel Eyes, and human voices for Tuco. Okay, that I did not know, guys. That's really insane. The score...
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's crazy. The score complements the film's American Civil War setting, containing the ballad The Story of a Soldier, which is sung by prisoners as Tuco is being tortured by Angel Eyes. The film's climax, a three-way Mexican standoff, begins with the melody of The Ecstasy of Gold and is followed by the trio. The trio is sick, which contains a musical allusion to Morricone's previous work for a few dollars more. There it is, guys. It was in there. That's what you're saying, the few dollars more theme loop in. Yeah, that's dope. Super dope. Yeah, you guys nailed that. I didn't even notice that. I'm gonna have to rewatch this. It's sad. The main theme also. Seconds, yeah, I'll just do another 3 hours, no problem. The main theme, also titled The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, was hit in '68 with the soundtrack album on the charts for more than a year, reaching number 4, the Billboard Prop Album chart, number 10 on the Black Album chart. The main theme was also a hit for Hugo Montenegro, whose rendition was a number 2 Billboard pop single in '68. Cleaned up. In popular culture, my man Rick mentioned American heavy metal band Metallica has played the Ecstasy of Gold as a prelude to music at their concerts since '85, and in 2007 recorded a version of the instrumental for a compilation tribute to Marconi. Other bands such as the Ramones have featured the song on their albums and live shows. The song has been sampled within the genre of hip-hop, most notably by rappers such as Immortal Technique and Jay-Z. The Ecstasy of Gold has been used ceremoniously by the Los Angeles Football Club to open home games. Opie and Anthony show, they used to be on Boston radio back in the day, guys. The Ecstasy of Gold, they opened their show, the Ecstasy of Gold. Punk rock band Ramones played the main theme as the opening for their live album Loco Live, as well as in concerts until their disbandment in '96. The British heavy metal band Motorhead played the main theme as overture music in '81, No Sleep Till Hammersmith tour. American punk rock band The Vandals song Urban Struggle begins with the main theme. British electronica act Bomb the Bass used the main theme and several samples on 88 single Beat This, and used sections of dialogue from Tuco's Hanging On throughout the entire world. The opening track from their 91 album Unknown Territory, this dialogue, along with some of the Mule dialogue from Fistful of Dollars, was sampled by the Big Audio Dynamite on their 86 single Medicine Show. The main theme was also sampled and recreated by British band New Order for the album version of their 93 single Ruined in a Day. A song from the band Gorillaz is named Clint Eastwood and features references to the actor, along with a repeated sample of the theme song. The iconic yell featured in the Good and the Bad and Ugly score is heard at the beginning of the music video. American new wave group Wall of Voodoo performed a medley of Ennio Morricone's movie themes, including the theme for this movie, the only known recording of its live performance on the Index Masters. I'll do theatrical and deleted scenes, and then we'll do our ratings. You guys can do what's it called, the home media on your own. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was released on Italy in 23 December 66. In the U.S., all three of Loney's Dollars trilogy films were released in 67. A Fistful of Dollars on January 18th, A Few More Dollars on May 10th, The Good and the Bad, the Ugly on 29th of December. The original Italian domestic version was 177 minutes long, but the international version shown at various lengths. Most prints, specifically those shown in the U.S., had a runtime of 161 minutes, 16 minutes shorter than the Italian premiere version, but others, especially British prints, ran as short as 148 minutes. Eastwood did a month-long publicity tour for the film, which garnered popularity through advertising and word of mouth. I want to run these deleted scenes, then we'll do box office and the canceled sequel. Deleted scenes. The following scenes were originally deleted by distributors from the British and American theatrical versions of the film, but were restored after the release of 2004 special edition DVD. During his search for Bill Carson, Angel Eyes stumbles upon embattled Confederate outpost after a massive artillery bombardment. Once there, after witnessing the wretched conditions of the survivors, he bribes a Confederate soldier, Israel, dubbed by Tom Warner, for clues about Bill Carson. Did either of you guys see that one? I don't recall that part. That might be deleted for real.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think that's the one I saw.
After being betrayed by Blondie, surviving in the desert on his way to civilization, assembling a good revolver from the parts of worn-out guns being sold at a general store, Tuco meets with members of his gang in a distant cave where he conspires with them to hunt and kill Blondie. I think I did see that one.
I saw that, yep.
When he was by himself and the dudes pull up on him, yeah. The sequence with Tuco and Blondie crossing the desert has been extended. Tuco mentally tortures a severely dehydrated Blondie by eating and bathing in front of him. I remember what he was eating. Tuco, transporting a dehydrated Blondie, finds a Confederate camp whose occupants tell him that the Father Ramirez monastery is nearby. I don't know if I saw that one or not. Tuco and Blondie discuss their plans when departing in a wagon from Father Ramirez's monastery. A scene where Blondie and Angel Eyes are... Okay, this one I did see, Gazzy. Blondie and Angel Eyes are resting by a creek when a man appears and Blondie shoots him. Angel Eyes asks the rest of his men to come out of hiding. When five men come out, Blondie counts them, including Angel Eyes, and concludes that 6 is the perfect number, implying one for each bullet in his gun. The sequence with Tuco, Blondie, and Captain Clinton has been extended. Clinton asked for their names, which they're reluctant to give. The footage below is all featured within supplementary features of the 04 DVD release. Additional footage of the sequence where Tuco is tortured by Angel-Eye's henchmen was discovered. The original negative of this footage was deemed too badly damaged to be used in the theatrical cut. Lost footage of the missing Socorro sequence where Tuco continues to search for Blondie in a Texican pueblo, where while Blondie is in a hotel room with a Mexican woman, is reconstructed with photos and unfinished snippets from the French trailer. Also in the documentary, Reconstructing the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, what looks to be footage of Tuco lighting cannons before the Ecstasy of Gold sequence appears briefly. None of these scenes or sequences appear in the 04 re-release, but are featured in the supplementary features. So that's why it seems cool to watch that documentary, because like you'll see a bunch of stuff.
In that one part that you said at the beginning, Ross, with the soldier, I did see that part, and that's a part where it's very quick. I think this is the part they're talking about. I could be wrong, but there is a soldier that has no legs, and he comes up with two, and then
he goes in the saloon.
Nice call. Nice call.
It was a very quick scene, but he's like, a whiskey. Like that's the first thing he does with the money. Yeah. So I think that's the scene they're talking about. And I definitely saw the extended version.
I don't blame them. Box office in Italy, the film grossed 6.3 mil at the time. In the US and Canada, 25.1 mil. It also grossed 7.5 mil in other international territories for a total of 38.9 mil grossed worldwide. I don't think the reevaluation stuff is for us. We'll do pop culture real quick. And the film's title has entered the English language as an idiomatic expression typically used when describing something thoroughly. The respective phrases refer to upsides, downsides, and parts that could or should have done better but were not. Quentin Tarantino paid homage to the film's climactic standoff in his 1992 film Reservoir Dogs. I mean, that's come up a hell of times, guys, with just all the influences.
Yeah, Pixie's incoming in a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The film was novelized in 1967 by Joe Millard as part of the Dollars Western series based on The Man with No Name. The South Korean Western movie The Good, the Bad, and the Weird 08 is inspired by the film, with much of its plot and character elements borrowed from Leone's film. In his introduction to the 03 revised edition of his novel, The Dark Tower, The Gunslinger, Stephen King said the film was a primary influence for the Dark Tower series, with Eastwood's character inspiring the creation of King's protagonist, Roland Deschain. Yeah, I figured he was like, that type of character. In 1975, Willie Colon with Yomo Toro and Hector Lavoe released an album titled The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. The album cover featured the three in cowboy attire. I haven't heard of those guys, so I don't know what that is. I'm just going to go out on canceled sequel. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly does not have an official sequel. However, screenwriter Luciano Vincenzoni stated on numerous occasions that he had written a treatment for a sequel tentatively titled The Good, the Ugly, and the Bad 2. According to Vincenzoni and Eli Wallach, the film would have been set 20 years after the original. It would have followed Tuco pursuing Blondie's grandson for the gold. The project was ultimately vetoed by Leone, as he did not want the original film's title or characters to be reused, nor did he want to be involved in another Western. So didn't really go so good between Eastwood and Leone there at the end. But, guys, can't get everything.
I think here's something too, Ross. I got to go back and watch it now. And I will do this tonight at the end. Because you said that they wanted to call it The Good, the Ugly, and the Bad. And I think at the end of the movie, they show the characters, and then they have
the Italian titles, right? Yeah.
And I think that they used that a title at the end. I think that they.
No, definitely. Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah. Go
okay,
check
so
it.
I caught that. Yeah, I caught that. Okay, I was like, geez, they did sneak that in there.
Yeah, I think it's just like a lost in translation kind of thing. Like that's how they say it over there in Italy, but when it comes over here, Hollywood changes it around for some reason. But cool. Yeah, that's we've had you guys for a while, so everybody feel free to drop your ratings in the chat. I'll go first, and let's see. It's got an 8.8 out of 10, almost 880K reviews on IMDb.
Wow.
Metascore is a 90 with 7 critics. I'm giving it 10 out of 10 because I'm a Clint Eastwood Sergio Leone fanboy. I do want to say one thing about that sequel treatment. Like, I don't really think it would have worked to involve like Blondie's like family, like without Clint. But there's the fact that like Scott Eastwood is Clint's son and he acts. So I mean, theoretically, you could have had Scott Eastwood playing the younger Blondie guy. But Scott Eastwood was probably like 12 back then. So you know, if he wasn't the right age to play like a cowboy, I don't think it would have worked. You know what I mean? But Pixies weighed in 9.5 the whole trilogy. What do you got, Ricky?
I'm definitely gonna go. God, I want to not at least 9.5. I'm almost out of 10. I am almost out of 10 because I'm like you, Ross, huge Clint Eastwood fan. And this trilogy was so close, just to these memories I have with my dad. So
yeah,
I feel it, bro. I feel it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Gazzy, where you at?
Well, I started on a positive. I gave the rating at the start, and it's the same 10 out of 10. It's one of the best westerns that's ever been made. The action sequences, the characters, the facial expressions, the story, the subtle nods to the other films, and so many other underlying themes within the movie. The way the score is used to support the characters and the plot. And there's something you were saying, Ross, that Enrico Marione, his English wasn't too good. Well, he certainly knew how to tell a story, and that's what he has demonstrated here. That if you either haven't got a good grasp of English or you don't want to use lots of dialogue, you can use emotive expressions and the score to
100%.
back up the film. And I know that can be hard now because they had then with this film, Ross, they had control of the score, so they could use the soundtrack. Whereas now you can have like, you know, a studio exec or whatever. Oh, you must put this pop whack in with this sequence to support it. Yeah, because that will flow well. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Fantastic trilogy. Thoroughly entertaining. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I don't like if you guys want to weigh in on the sequel just quickly, like I don't want a sequel to this one because you already kind of have that Perfect Dollars trilogy, Perfect Man with No Name trilogy, and it's even cooler. So guys, when the video goes live, I'm going to post that timeline video underneath it with the trailer so you guys can all watch it. But like it's even cooler that each one's a standalone. You can watch them in the order they came out to the west to me and Gaz, and Rick's out here in Canada, so same thing. You can watch it in the order they came out, but you could also watch it in the timeline order, which is good, bad first, then for a few dollars more, and then a fistful of dollars. So it's like it's almost like one of those like choose your adventure books. Like you could take it and put it in any order, and it works. That's like crazy. So I'm just like impressed by that.
Yeah, and the influence on other forms of pop culture as well, like Cad Bane in Star Wars, definitely influenced by
Gunslinger,
Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name, and also
Snake Plissken's a gunslinger. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Totally. So, dude, the Ghoul Cowboy in Fallout as well. In the Fallout series.
The Ghoul is an awesome character. The Ghoul is an amazing character. The Ghoul probably like loosely based on Clint as well because he was an actor before the bomb. You know what I mean? So it's like another actor turned cowboy. You know what I mean? So pretty sick. I'm
gonna put you both on the spot then. So we've done the ratings. What would be your favorite sequences from this one?
You can go first, Ricky, unless you want me to give you some time.
You take it. I want to see where you're going to go.
I mean, obviously, the final Mexican standoff is the big deal. That's what everybody knows. It's the trio song. I mean, there's just a lot. The bridge sequence, because I feel like that really gave you that war commentary. Although you knew Mortimer was a former officer like in the other movie, and so you got these post-war references, but you never got anything that put you in the thick of it, which is what the good, the bad, the ugly did. I mean, there's a lot that bombed out town that got all artillery shelled. I mean, that just set wise, like Rick was saying, that was really impressive set wise. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie, so we're probably not going to hit all the notes, guys. But I mean, there's a lot of fire in there. I don't know. Maybe now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm starting to think it's the best movie in the trilogy. But it was also so long ago since me and you reviewed 1 and 2, guys, that like I don't want to put, it's tough. I don't want to do Sergio Leone bad like that. So, how about you, Ricky?
I like you said, the final scene obviously is my favorite. But like I was saying earlier, the scene with Tuco and his brother at the monastery, I like that.
Yep.
I love that scene, man.
Yep. That was an awesome scene. Yeah,
great scene, and I like the desert scene. And there's so many, like you guys just said, in this 3-hour movie. They're all really great, but I really like those are the scenes I really liked. But there's so many good scenes in this movie. Like it's hard to pick.
It's really hard to nail down, isn't it?
It really is. But
Arch Stanton.
I mean, the final duel, the bridge, the score when Tuco first starts running through the graveyard, the way that is set up.
Even the aerial shot, like I assume they use cranes because obviously they weren't using drone shots back then. So I was thinking, like, how the hell do they pull this off in some of these older movies? You know what I mean?
Dude, look, when it was made, we get that whole battlefield view of both with the Union Confederates fighting over that bridge. And we get it now, whereas now obviously they'd use a drone, but we kind of get that shot back then. Just the Tuco's dialogue at the beginning, absolutely hilarious. Trying to break the handcuff chain.
That's crazy.
With the train coming, that's epic. I mean, it's if you were to take and do like a top 10 scenes from this movie, dude, there's just so many. I don't.
It'd be hard to
do its justice.
For sure.
It would be so difficult.
You know what? When you just said that, guys, you know what you remind me of? When Tuco was asleep with all the soldiers sleeping in the cart. Was that not like Sisu Road to Revenge when he came through all this? Dude, I got to assume they used some of that, right? Like they updated it, but like now that it's like everything's connecting. Paradigm Review Show, the most epic show on YouTube.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, look at the influence. I mean, we can say in Star Wars, like with Tatooine, for example.
The desert planet.
So many things, but I do think as well. I mean, we looked at this in film class, man, a lot, and the way, like I've stressed this, but it's one of those films where the score is equally as memorable, and I'm stressing 100%. Again the way it was used to drive the plot. You know, you get in martial arts movies, Ross, particularly, I think they did this in the Jet Li movie Hero, where they'll show the weather or the different colors to show you contrasting emotions. They did this with the music in this film to set up each scene to show you that different kind of feeling, that different passion, and man, did it grab you as a viewer. Superb film. Superb.
Absolutely epic film.
Shout out to Pixie. Sorry for not being as miserable as usual. I'll be over the cold soon, and then I'll have some more volume, and then you may regret watching us again. So don't worry, I'll be back to being the miserable person that I am soon. Thanks for going through that.
Yeah, sorry about guys. It was end of the year festivities, and so we bounced the show off of Saturday. But anyway, we're probably going to be off for maybe a month and a half, and guys and I are going to work behind the scenes and put together our new schedule for the new year. But I'm sure Rick will be back when we get a Western or something that he wants to talk about. Vigilante, whatever it is, we'll get him back on.
Rick, just get at us if you want to come on. Just get at us and join us in a documentary about toilet paper if you want.
I would love to come back. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. This was really cool.
We'll do toilet paper, but we're going to start with the most sandpaper quality, and Gaz is going to be our test subject. So anyway, I think that's a good. Wouldn't be the first time, right, Gazi? Anyway,
it wouldn't, especially from those old radio shows where I used to brush my teeth and do that live on there, Rick. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Ross had the unfortunate pleasure of listening to them. I didn't care.
Oh, Gaz was a total one of those punk rock show. He ate a slice of pizza on air. There wasn't anything that he didn't do live. It was epic. Our good old radio days, which our man Ricky is still on. Ricky, plug the show again and the channel before we get out of here.
Oh yeah. So the show, well, might be on YouTube, but it's already been shared in the chat. Thank you,
Yeah.
Harry Pixie. Crypt Ricks, I've been thinking, and you can also find me at revolution.radio. Just check the schedule. I'm on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and from 6 till 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to see you guys there.
Sounds cool, man.
Revolution.radio. I've been on a show, and then are you still doing the I've been thinking interviews, Ricky, on the podcast?
That's what I do on radio. On Mondays and Thursdays, I do my interviews, and then Friday is the music show. So that's where I do my main interviews. Yeah,
Ricky's over on the Crypt Ricks I've been thinking channel. Go check out my Zodiac interviews and
they were great. Yeah,
whatnot that we did with Ricky over there. I think we're gonna take us out. Ricky, you can pop into the green room if you want, and then I'm just gonna do an outro.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get with you in a minute, but if you want to stick around, Gazzy, you can stick around for the outro. You can drop. I know it's a little late UK time.
That's all right. I'll stick around, man.
Good shit. So subscribe to my man Gaz over on youtube.com/@moshshinobi. You'll see on all these upcoming reviews now that aren't martial arts or samurai related. Gaz's channel will be the collaborator, so you'll see both PXF and the Mosh Shinobi channel. Eventually, when we get around to it, we'll have some updates on the Cosmic Invasion and some of the other beat 'em up streams. So do follow me over at twitch.tv/PlanetXGames if you are a Twitcher. And yeah, like I said, we're going to be chilling for a minute, but me and Gaz will put together the 2026 schedule, and we'll have a mixture of like PXF classics and maybe whatever new stuff comes out that we're actually interested in, which we don't really know what it is at the current moment, Gaz, but I'm sure something will drop. Worst case scenario,
Rocky Fall special edition.
Yeah, now we'll be digging up the old classics. When is that screening? Do you know?
I think it was it last weekend. I didn't get there with.
I think it was last weekend. I didn't make it there either. I was hoping they would. I was hoping they'd bring it up again. But it's all good, guys. We'll figure it out. So go subscribe to Gash, like, sub, share, click the join button for a membership, and then obviously, I will have next time I come back. I'm going to try to have a release date for you guys for episode 5 of the main series, the Lake Herman Road ambush. But as always, click the join button for a membership if you want 24-hour early access, or to get your name in the credits of episode 5 and 6. Trying to remember if there's anything I missed, Gazzy, but I don't think there is. And we will be back next year, guys. But again, yeah, Gaz and I are just going to work behind the scenes to get the schedule together going. But in the meantime, you can go check out the new show, Volume 20 of the Zodiac Interviews of Ray Grant. Give that a good look, and we will definitely be having another Zodiac interview once it gets scheduled. So I think that's pretty good. Oh, thank you, Pixie. The Patreon, you can go over there and check out the Most Dangerous Game movie reviews. And I'll meet Gaz, and I will probably have a couple of those new ones coming soon. You can join for free with Gmail. Or if you want to see the unlock posts, you get one of the tiers over there. But there's 3 tiers of subscription here, and those are Gorilla, Inspector, and Vigilante. So get whatever one is most realistic for you. Gazzy, anything else other than send everybody over to Mosh Shinobi to sub?
Just a Pixie. I'll be back to being miserable soon. There's the ASMR payout for you. Happy New Year. But yeah, just
back. Happy New Year, Pixie.
Grinch Radio, Grinch Paradigm Grinch show.
Yeah, totally. Happy New Year, folks. We'll be away for a while because we've got lots to work on. But as always, you're welcome to put forward any suggestions. Thank you, everybody, for all the support. Thank you for supporting the Zodiac series as well. Can't stress how much work goes into them from Ross behind the scenes. Mission accomplished then, Pixie. Everybody have a good one, and we shall see you soon. And shout out to Rick. Thanks for coming on. We're looking forward to doing more shows with him as well. And take care of yourselves, everybody, and keep laughing and keep smiling.
As always, you can leave your recommendations in the live chat if you're watching the show, or if it's after we've gone live, you can just leave them in the comments section. And again, I'll have the trailer and also that Dollars Trilogy, Man with No Name Trilogy timeline in below in the description, because that was a interesting thing that I did not pick up after me and guys have watched this movie so many times. I'm like, I think I'm messing up the timeline here. Like, sub, share, click the join button for membership. Paradigm Review Show, last show of 2025. We are out, and we'll check in back with you guys once we get something posted. We'll have like at least the whatever February or March, whatever schedule we come back with, will be posted in the post section. So shout out to all the support, and Paradigm Review Show. We are out. I'm just gonna drop Gaz quickly while I do this final outro for the cowboy hat. Rocco from Boondock Saints voice. Wyatt fucking Earp!